First Take, Big Perk, all together, came on today and gave huge compliments towards Caitlyn Clark.
It was a typical morning on the set of a high-energy sports talk show, the kind where coffee mugs tremble from the sheer force of the hosts' voices. The panel, let's call them the Big Perk, Lana Smith, and the ever-fiery Stephen A. Smith sat poised, microphones hot, ready to dissect the latest in sports. But today wasn't about the usual suspects. No LeBron James hot takes, no Dallas Cowboys meltdowns, no debates about Tom Brady's avocado toast diet. No, today's Sermon from the Mount was dedicated to one name, one phenomenon, one supernova lighting up the basketball universe, Caitlyn Clark. On our YouTube channel, we'd been buzzing about Clark for weeks, ever since she torched the court in her old Iowa stomping grounds against Brazil, dropping buckets with the casual swagger of someone tossing laundry into a hamper.
Huge praise, and not only there, they were on Twitter as well, giving love to Caitlyn Clark, and people seem to not like it, man.
But when Stephen A. Smith, Big Perk, and Lana Smith took to the airwaves and their social media feeds to shower Clark with praise, the internet erupted. Some fans cheered, others clutched their pearls, and a few skeptics grumbled into their keyboards. Love her or hate her, Caitlyn Clark was the topic, the spark, the lightning bolt electrifying sports discourse. And Stephen A. He didn't just join the conversation, he hijacked it, turned it into a one-man Broadway show, and left everyone else scrambling for the script. Picture this, Stephen A. Smith, suited up like he's auditioning for a Hollywood blockbuster, pacing the studio like a caged lion. His voice, already a weapon of mass persuasion, hit decibels that could wake a coma patient. This wasn't a discussion. It was a verbal supernova, a Shakespearean soliloquy meets ESPN highlight reel. And the subject of his passion? Caitlyn Clark, the WNBA's rookie sensation, who, according to Stephen A., I wasn't just playing basketball, she was rewriting the rulebook, snatching the MVP crown, and possibly bending the laws of physics while she was at it. She's different, Stephen A. bellowed, his hands slicing through the air like he was conducting an orchestra of hype. Caitlyn Clark is special. You hear that crowd? That roar when her shot's in the air? That's not just noise, that's history being made. Big Perk, nodding like a bobblehead in a windstorm, chimed in.
Put on a show in our old stomping grounds in Iowa versus Brazil.
Man, she's got that electricity, that spark. I'm talking MVP level vibes. She's ready for the physicality, the pressure, the spotlight. She's been under it since college. I'm expecting big things. Lana Smith, ever the voice of reason, added, let's not forget her rookie season. Straight from the NCAA championship game to starting all 40 WNBA games. Unanimous Rookie of the Year. All WNBA first team, fourth in MVP voting. That's not a fluke, that's a foundation. But Stephen A. wasn't here for measured analysis. He was here to preach, to paint Clark as a once-in-a-generation talent who could make defenders question their life choices and front offices regret every draft pick that didn't have her name on it. MVP as a rookie, he thundered, sweat glistening on his brow like he'd just run a marathon in that suit. You better believe it. She's not just in the conversation, she's the whole conversation. If you're new to our YouTube channel, buckle up, because we're diving deep into the Caitlyn Clark saga, Stephen A., his volcanic eruption, and why this 22-year-old sharpshooter is the talk of the town. And if you're already a fan of Clark's game, drop a CC as the GOAT in the comments and subscribe for more hoops hot takes. Let's break it down. The Caitlyn Clark effect, a rookie redefining the game to understand why Stephen A. Smith was ready to risk vocal cord surgery over Caitlyn Clark. You need to grasp the magnitude of her impact. Clark didn't just arrive in the WNBA, she crash-landed like a meteor, leaving a crater in every stat sheet, highlight reel, and opposing coach's game plan. As a rookie, she played all 40 games for the Indiana Fever, averaging numbers that made analysts double-check their spreadsheets. Points. She was dropping 20+ like it was a Tuesday afternoon pickup game. Assists. She dished them with the precision of a Michelin star chef plating a dessert. Three-pointers. She was launching them from zip codes most players wouldn't even attempt, sinking logo shots with a shrug that said, "What, you thought I'd miss?" Her game is a blend of audacity and artistry. Imagine Steph Curry's range. Diana Taurasi's competitive fire, and Sue Bird's court vision, all wrapped in a headband and a smirk. Clark doesn't just score, she humiliates. Defenders who dare press her end up on highlight reels, their ankles filing for workers' comp. She's got that rare ability to make the impossible look routine, like draining a 35-footer while a 6'3" forward flails helplessly in her airspace. And the crowd, they don't just cheer, they lose their minds, roaring like they've just witnessed a miracle. Which, to be fair, they kind of have. But it's not just about the numbers or the highlights. Clark's presence is a cultural seismic shift. She's not just filling seats, she's selling out arenas, turning road games into must-see events, and forcing networks to rearrange their schedules to catch her warm-up jumpers. The WNBA hasn't seen this kind of buzz since Lisa Leslie was throwing down dunks that made gravity look optional. Clark's games are events, spectacles, pilgrimages for fans who want to say, "I was there when she dropped 40." And the numbers back it up. Indiana Fever attendance spiked, TV ratings soared, and social media exploded with clips of Clark casually dismantling defenses like they were made of tissue paper. On our YouTube channel, we've been tracking Clark's meteoric rise since her college days at Iowa, where she broke records with the ease of someone cracking eggs for breakfast. Her NCAA scoring record, shattered. Her logo threes, a nightly occurrence. Her ability to turn a basketball game into a viral moment, unmatched. But the WNBA is a different beast, faster, stronger, meaner. Rookies are supposed to struggle, to spend their first season learning the ropes, getting benched after a bad shooting night, or getting lost in a defensive rotation. Not Clark. She showed up, dropped 30, hit a buzzer beater, and then signed autographs for kids while simultaneously breaking the spirits of grown women with mortgages.
Boy, you put that girl up in there, and people were appalled at that notion. That was the subject.
Stephen A. Smith, the human hype machine, enters Stephen A. Smith, the man who doesn't just talk about sports, he performs them. His on-air segments aren't discussions. They're sonic booms, verbal earthquakes that rattle studio equipment and make producers pray their mics are insured. Subtlety is not in his vocabulary. When Stephen A. speaks, it's like he's trying to win a debate, conduct a symphony, and summon a thunderstorm all at once. And when he turned his attention to Caitlyn Clark, the result was nothing short of apocalyptic. Picture the scene. The studio lights are blazing, the cameras are rolling, and Stephen A. is in full sermon mode. His tie is slightly askew. His eyes are wide with the fervor of a man who's seen the future, and it's wearing a Fever jersey. Caitlyn Clark, he roars, the words reverberating like a gospel choir hitting the high notes. She's not just a player, she's a phenomenon. You think MVP is a stretch? Let me tell you something. She's already the MVP in my book. Big Perk, trying to keep up, adds, "She's got that aura, man. That shot she hit against Brazil. The crowd was screaming before it even went in. That's the kind of player she is. MVP? I'm not betting against her." Lana Smith, ever the analyst, tries to ground the conversation. "Let's look at her resume," she says, gesturing to a graphic that pops up on the screen. Unanimous Rookie of the Year. All WNBA first team. Fourth in MVP voting as a rookie.
Crazy is you had Monica McNutt, Andrea, Shanae, all on the panel right before the game, and they had a graphic, an interesting graphic that popped up.
And now, in her second year, she's got the best odds to win the MVP. That's not hype, that's data. But Stephen A. doesn't need data. He's operating on pure, unfiltered passion, the kind that could power a small city. Data? He scoffs, waving a hand like he's swatting away a bad take. You want to talk numbers? How about the number of jaws she's dropped, the number of defenders she's sent to therapy, the number of arenas she's turned into her personal playground? Caitlyn Clark is box office. It's a performance for the ages. The kind of rant that makes you wonder if Stephen A. has a secret side gig as a motivational speaker. His voice climbs octaves. His gestures grow wilder, and at one point, you're convinced he's about to levitate right out of his chair. The studio crew, used to his antics, still looks slightly alarmed, like they're bracing for the moment when his enthusiasm shatters a light fixture. Molly Karim, the show's moderator, adjusts her earpiece nervously, as if she's trying to shield herself from the sonic tsunami. Somewhere in the control room, a coffee mug spontaneously combusts from the sheer intensity. But beneath the theatrics, there's truth. Stephen A. isn't just hyping Clark for clicks or clout. He's recognizing a generational talent, a player who's not just changing the game, but rewriting its DNA.
She's the Steph Curry of women's basketball,
he declares, a comparison he's been making since Clark was at Iowa. I've been saying it for years. College pro doesn't matter. She's a superstar. The MVP case. Why Caitlyn Clark is the conversation. Let's pause the Stephen A. highlight reel for a moment and dig into the meat of his argument. Caitlyn Clark as the 2025 WNBA MVP.
Let's start with our 2025 WNBA MVP, and that has to go to the one and only Caitlyn Clark. You can say I'm glazing, you can say I'm hyping her up too much, but I truly think
It's a bold claim, especially for a player in her second year, but it's not as wild as it sounds. To understand why, let's break down Clark's case piece by dazzling piece. First, the stats. Clark's rookie season was a statistical anomaly, the kind of performance that has data scientists muttering about advanced metrics and true shooting percentages. She averaged over 20 points per game, dished out assists like she was running.
She is box office. We can lament it all we want to, but the fact of the matter is, Caitlyn Clark is box office. And we got to get that out the way. And I'll get into all of that a little bit more in just a second, because it's very